In this video, I will be showing you how to make a double-breasted waistcoat with a U-neckline, just like the image you are seeing right now. Make sure you stick to this video to the end because you wouldn't want to miss any part of this tutorial. Also, you might want to check out this design of waistcoat on my channel. I will leave a link to the tutorial in the description area below. Lest I forget, guys, putting up a valuable content like this on YouTube is not an easy task. But one of the ways you can encourage me to do more is by watching ads on my videos. Please don't skip those ads. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time of watching my video, this is Regi School of Fashion. Consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't, because on this platform, I upload fashion designing content regularly for both male and female, using pattern drafting, which is the world standard method in clothing construction. Are you guys ready? Let's dive into the video. In drafting a double-breasted waistcoat pattern, I have my pattern paper laid on the table and I have my vertical lines drawn on my pattern paper. Here is the center front line. Then from the edge of the paper to this line, I have 3.5 inches. That is for button allowance. Okay. Then from the edge of the pattern paper here to this point is the starting point for my drafting. So from the starting point, I measure the chest level, which is 9 inches. The chest level is half of the armhole circumference measurement. So chest level is the same thing as the armhole depth. When you divide the armhole circumference measurement you are using by 2, what you arrive at is armhole depth, so which is the chest level measurement. Then after this point here, I have 9 inches for the armhole depth, which is the chest level. Then on the waist level, I have 17 inches. So this is the waist point. So I have to insert this measurement because the design of this waistcoat is different from the one I have on my channel. That is the previous one I made tutorial on, the drafting and the sewing tutorial. So if you are here to watch that video, the videos has been linked up in the description area below. So after the waist level, I have another measurement here, which is the length of the waistcoat. So which means this is a point I want the waistcoat to stop. So you can see what I have. This is 24. So if I take the measurement from the waist level to that point, is 7 inches. Okay, so that is the waistcoat length. So I will label this as the waistcoat length. So now I have the length of the waistcoat labeled. As you can see, here is the waistcoat length. So the first step is to insert the neck measurement. So that is the neck width I'm using. Because of the design of this waistcoat, the wideness of the neck is not much. So I will be using 4 inches as the neck width measurement. So please take note of this. I started taking the measurements from the center front line and not from the edge of the pattern paper. So if you know you can get carried away or forget, just fold in this part inwards, fold it like so, then you tape it down. So I'm taking the neck width measurement of 4 inches, which is here. Then I will insert the half of the back measurement. So then I will insert half of the back measurement, which is 17 inches. So half of 17 is 8.5 inches. So here I have 8.5 inches. Then on the chest level, I will insert the same half of the back measurement. Okay, which is here 8.5. Then I will connect the 2 points together to make a straight line. like so. So this line is the armhole line. Then on the armhole line, I will come down by 1.5 inches. This is to slant the shoulder line. Okay, then I'll be connecting this 1.5 inches point to the neck width point. Okay, so here I have the shoulder line constructed. Now the next step is to construct the armhole. In constructing the armhole, I will be dividing what I have from this point, the 1.5 inches point and the chest level point, by 2. So here I have 7.5 inches. So half of 7.5 is 3.75. Then I will extend this point inward towards the center front. So after extending this point, so I will leave this aside. I will not insert any value on this area for now. So I will come to the chest level, then insert quarter of the chest measurements. The chest circumference measurement I'm working with is 37. So quarter of 37 is 9.25, 9 inches and 1/4. So on the chest level, I will insert 9.25, which is here. Okay, so you can see what I have from here to here is not enough to construct the armhole, and because of that, I will be ignoring this point. I will ignore this point. Then from this point, which is half of the back measurement I have on the chest level, I will measure 1.5 inches. So you can use between 1.5 inches to 2.5 inches. This depends on the size of the wearer. Okay, for medium figure, 1.5. For medium large, large, you can use 2 inches. So extra large and above, you can use 2.5 inches. So here I'm using 1.5 in constructing the armhole. So here I have this point. Okay, so the next step is to extend the chest level downward. This is because the waistcoat is going to be a sleeveless. It's not going to be with sleeve. So in order to make that area, the armhole area, look beautiful, so we have to make the chest level come downward a little. This also depends on how deep you want the armhole to be. So, and because this is going to be a very fitted waistcoat, so I will be bringing this down by 1 inch. So I'll be making use of 1 inch. Then I will extend the line outward towards the side. Okay, then I will take the measurement I have on the chest level from the center front to this point. So here I have 10 inches. So I will insert the same 10 inches on that line. So that is the 1 inch line I drew downward. So now I have this point. So this is settled. I will cross this out. So this is where I will be constructing the armhole. So now I will come to the shoulder slant line. So this is the shoulder line. Because this is a sleeveless, what I have here as shoulder line is too wide for a waistcoat. So it will look odd if I use it like so. So I'll be reducing this measurement, and this measurement has to be taken from the neck width point. This is the neck width. So I'll be taking the measurement towards the side. I'm not measuring from the armhole towards the side, but from this point towards the armhole line, like so. Now this also depends on you, how wide you want the shoulder line to be. Okay, so you can use 2 inches. The minimum you can use is 2 inches for the wideness of the shoulder line. So now I'll be using 3 inches. so I have my 3 inches point like so. So now I will be constructing my armhole. I'll be constructing my armhole. So now, in order for you to have a guide on how to construct your armhole, so I'll be inserting 3/4 on this side. That is the standard measurement I use in constructing the armhole for male figure. Okay, for front panel, I will insert that 3/4. So this is going to be a guide for me in constructing this armhole. So here is a 3/4 point. Then I will be connecting this like so. Because I've adjusted the armhole, definitely my armhole connection will not fall on this point. So I'm not focusing on this 3/4. I just want to know how far my armhole ruler is going to be to this point. That is why I inserted this point. Okay, so once I have my ruler like so, I will just take the measurement, what I have from here to here. I don't want to use more than 1.5 inches. So I will adjust my ruler until I have 1.5 inches. So that is double of what I have here. You can see what I have here. And so now I have 1.5. So I can go ahead and construct the armhole. So you have to take note of this so that your armhole construction will not be too wide for the wearer, because this pattern is for a medium figure. So I have to pay attention to all those little details. This must not be too wide around the armhole, so I don't want this to be more than 2.5 inches. If I'm drafting this pattern for a large figure, I can just take the measurement of 2 inches directly around here. So you can see what I have. So that is the armhole. So the next step is to construct the neckline. Because of the design of the waistcoat we are working with, so this is going to be a U-shaped neckline. In my previous tutorial on waistcoats, I made use of V neckline. So in this tutorial, I will be making use of U-neckline shape. So now I have the neck width measured out, so I will be inserting the neck depth measurement. So the neck depth measurement we'll be using also has to do with how deep you want this to be. Don't forget, it is a waistcoat that will be put on shirt. It is not something you wear alone, so you can make it deep as much as you want. Okay, so what I'll be doing is I will just break this down by 1 inch, or let's say 1.5 inches below the chest level. Don't forget, this is my chest level. So below the chest level, I have this 1.5 inches below the chest level. So I'll just square this outward. Then around this side as well, I will insert that measurement. So I will just take this 9 inches. From here is going to be 10.5 inches from the starting point. So I have it here, then I will make it a straight line. If you don't mind, you can make yours to stop on the chest level. That is, if you don't want it too deep, you can make it to stop on the chest level. You can even go deeper than this. It all depends on your preference. So now I have this line. So in order for you not to get confused, I will just label this as a neckline, so that you'll be able to pay attention to that area when I'm constructing the neckline. Now I have this labeled as the neckline. So now that I have the neck depth measurement inserted, so the next step is to place the measurement I have here, which is the neck width measurement, on the neckline depth measurement. Here I will be inserting 4 inches, so that is the neck width measurement. So this is just for me to have a straight line downward from the starting point downward. So I will connect the two together like so. Okay, so the next step is to get the midpoint of this angle. You can see this angle 90. So I have to get the middle in order to construct the neckline. So I have the same line on my ruler. So I will just place it at the center to meet the center, like so. So then I will trace out the center line, the line that falls on that point. So I'll mark the point on my pattern paper, then I will square it outward like so. Now that I have the center line drawn out, the next step is to construct the neckline, and I'll be making use of this curved ruler purposely because it is long enough. Unlike this, I have the shorter one. It may not work perfectly for this. Okay, so the way I'm going to position this ruler has to do with how deep I want this neckline to be. Let me give you an example. On this line, I can just measure 1.5 inches forward. Here is a point. 2 inches point. Then 2.5 inches point. Okay, so if I position my ruler in such a way, I connect with the 1.5 inches point. So this is what I will be having for the neckline. So this is very deep. Unlike this, if I make use of the 2 inches, 2 inches is not going to be as deep as the 1.5. So the 1.5 will be deeper than the 2 inches point. And of course, the 2 inches point will be deeper than the 2.5 inches. So that is just the difference. If you want it very deep, you can make use of 1 inch. So you can use as low as 1 inch point here. Then you just connect your neckline like so. So you will be having a perfect U shape. You'll be having a perfect U shape for your neckline. So this depends on your preference. So as for me, I will be maintaining the 1.5. Like so. So hope you can see this clearly. Now that I have the neckline constructed, the next step is to construct the side seam. In constructing the side seam, I will be inserting the waist circumference measurement, then the hip circumference measurement on the waistcoat length points. So now I will be inserting the waist circumference measurement. Just as I said when I was making video on how to draft a blazer suit pattern, that you have different waist points on a male figure. So the part you'll be using as waist measurement has to do with the type of style you are making. The waist point for trousers is different from waist points for native wears or senator wears. Also, the waist points for suit making is also different. So for this particular one, the circumference measurement I'm inserting here is the tummy measurement. Okay, so this is going to be somewhere around the tummy. I mean the natural waistline. So here I will insert the measurement, and I also gave you a clue on how you can get these measurements easily without taking the measurements on your client. Just use the chest circumference measurement you are working with. Like mine that I'm working with, chest circumference 37 inches. I will subtract 4 inches from 37 and I will be left with 3 inches. So on this area, I will be inserting 3 inches. So please, this measurement is for a fitted wear. If you are drafting pattern for a fitted outfit, but if you want a very loose outfit, kindly take the measurements on your client. So on the waist level, I will be using 33 inches as the waist circumference measurement. Please take note, not 3 inches, I mean 33 inches. So I will divide 33 inches by 4 and I will have 8.25. Then I will round it up to 8.5 inches. So that 1/4 is going to serve as ease measurement. So after this point, I will insert half of an inch for dart intake. This time around, I'm using half of an inch as my dart intake. Okay, so I will cross this out like so. Then I'll come to the hemline of the waistcoat. So on this area, I will be inserting the hip circumference measurements. But the measurement I have here does not get to the fullest part of the hip because it is a waistcoat. It must not be too long. So the beauty of the waistcoat is to remain short. So if it is not going to stop on the waist level, it can be a little bit below the waist level, but it must not be too long. For this wearer, his hip circumference measurement is 39 inches. But because this does not get to the hip level, I will not use the exact 39 inches. I will subtract 1 inch and I will use 38 inches and I will not add ease to that. So I will be dividing 38 inches by 4. (38 inches divided by 4 is 9.5 inches, which is here. So with this, I'm not adding ease to it because it does not get to the fullest part of the hip. So the next step is to connect the point together in order to construct the side seam. So connection from the chest level to the waist level requires a slight curve. So please take note, just a slight curve, not much curve. Then from the waist level to the waistcoat length is going to be a straight line. You can see what I have. So can you see the shape of our waistcoat? That is really looking good. So the next step is to plot the darts.